Good morning, everyone. Good morning in Latin America. Good afternoon in Europe. I'm Sonia Carvalho Ribeiro, and I'm hosting this webinar from the IUFRO Landscape Ecology Working Party. It's my pleasure to be here for this webinar on forests and forest products, the use of native species and the role of sociobiodiversity in Latin America. This presentation will have a lively discussion, hopefully a lively discussions with colleagues from Brazil, Colombia, and Chile about a group of topics. We will start by a presentation of the IUFRO and what is IUFRO and what is our role in it, and then we will introduce our guests and we'll start our discussion. So welcome everyone. Please let your questions, your comments in the chat. We'll do our best to reply to them as soon as we can. So I'll start with this IUFRO presentation. Just I will share my screen with you all. Just 1 minute. So, IUFRO is the International Union of Forest Research Organizations. This presentation will guide us through what is IUFRO, how does IUFRO work, why become a member, how to get involved. Hopefully, with these meetings, we'll enlarge our group with new entrants and be more widespread our visions and missions. So what is IUFRO? IUFRO is a global, non-profit, non-governmental, and non-discriminatory scientific organizations with over 15,000 scientists, 600 volunteers. IUFRO is open to all individuals and organizations dedicated to research related to forests and forest products. IUFRO was founded in 1892 and is based in Vienna, Austria. It's a member of the International Science Council. The vision of IUFRO is to be a global voice of forest science, promoting sustainable future of forests and society. IUFRO advances research excellence and knowledge sharing and fosters development of science-based solutions to forest-related challenges for the benefit of forests and forest people worldwide. To react to the most pressing challenge and hazards that affect both forest and society, the work and collaboration in IUFRO is focused in 5 thematic areas: forest for people, forest for climate change, forest for forest-based products and a greener future, biodiversity, ecosystem service and biological invasions, forests, soil and water interactions. So our members are research institutions and organizations, universities, individual scientists, decision makers, and other stakeholders. IUFRO provides a diverse thematic structure for forest-related research. Within this structure, scientists collaborate on a voluntary basis. We hope that this landscape ecology party webinar will foster this collaboration on non-timber forest products and the role of social biodiversity in South America. What we need to do is to address research needs and priorities of its members and stakeholders, including policy and decision makers, practitioners, industry, civil society, etc. IUFRO works actively towards enhancing research excellence, network cooperation, and policy impact. This is the structure overview with the different task forces and the 9 divisions that IUFRO is organized. It's silviculture, physiology and genetics, forest operations engineering, forest assessment modeling, forest products, social aspects of forests and forestry, forest health, forest environment, and forest policy and economics. So we Our goal is to enlarge our network and be in the state of the art on the work of these current task forces. We have a group of programs and projects, just a few examples, special program for development of capacity, special program for directors, special world forests, and the silviculture terminology. So another global forest experts panels program. This is the website from IUFRO. Why you would like to become a member? To make global connections, to take advantage of IUFRO representation in international forums, enjoy timely information, and benefit from support IUFRO. How to get involved? Go to our website and link to us. This forest and forest products webinar, it's directly linked to this two post-2020 strategy. Our forest and forest products, the use of native species and the role of sociobiodiversity in Latin America that we'll be discussing here today, focus mainly in these two strategies. Is this forest for people, where we aim at explore key dimensions and challenges regarding the relationships between forests and society as individuals or communities, as well institutional arrangements, supporting people livelihoods, quality of life that are linked to different sustainable development goals. Another key topic that our webinar directly associates is with these forests and forest-based products for a greener future, address the provision of food and forest-based products and how the environmental performance of existing bio-based forest products can be improved. It includes the use of forests as a source of renewable energy and the potential for a new and innovative forest-based products. There they are, some contacts for you to get in touch with the IUFRO headquarters. Here in Latin America, I'm Sonia. I'm co-coordinating with Cinnamon Dobbs from Chile and Maria from Colombia. Many thanks, Cinnamon, many thanks, Maria, that helped me to set out this Latin America webinar. So thank you very much. Let's go for this webinar. Let me start introducing my honorable guests. I will tell only their names and institutions, and then they will start by explaining us what is their experience in working with the non-timber forest products and sociobiodiversity in countries such as Chile, Colombia, and Brazil. So I'm very pleased to introduce Juana Palma Martinez from Infor Chile, Enrique Pereira from Universidade Federal do Amazonas, Brazil, and René Lopes from Universidade Francisco José Caldas, da Colômbia. Juana, por favor.
Thank you, Sonia. Thank you very much for this invitation. It is an honor to be here in this webinar and to share with you my non-timber forest product experience in Chile. Since I finished my university studies in 2000, I decided to dedicate my professional life on the research of non-timber forest products. I studied forestry in La Frontera University of Chile, and I got my doctoral degree from Freiburg University in Germany, where I studied non-timber forest product sampling method. My experience research focused on the key role that indigenous communities imprint on the non-timber forest product, because this local knowledge is the first step to understand the real importance of them. I look also at biodiversity conservation through on the development skill and method for a sustainable harvest of non-timber forest products. In the last 8 years, I'm working in the Forest Research Institute of Chile, and I have coordinated 5 research projects in relation with indigenous communities, 3 of them on vegetative material for basketry, carried out on coastal range evergreen forest of Araucanía, Los Ríos, and Chiloé Island. The other 2 projects focused on wild edible mushroom carried out on the Andean evergreen forest in Panguipulli. Thank you very much.
Anna, for accepting. It's our pleasure to have you here. René, can you please follow?
Thank you, Sonia. Good morning. A special greeting to all of you who are participating in this webinar today. My name is René Lopez Camacho, and I am forestry engineer and biologist with the studying in geographic information system and natural sciences in ecology line. I worked about 10 years at the Scientific Research Institute, (SINCHI), in the Amazon. I studied plants and their use and the potential use, and collect plants in the different ecosystem. I have been a professor at the Universidad Distrital Francisco José de Caldas in the subject of the Ntsp. I have worked in the area of the non-timber forest product for more than 20 years. In the last years, I collaborate with the different institutes of research, promote the Ntsp and the different studies in the potential plants to promote these products. Thank you. Sorry.
Enrique, please.
Good morning, bom dia, buenos dias. Estou falando de Manaus. I'm speaking from Manaus, Amazonas, Brazil. Thank you, Sonia. Thank you, IUFRO, for this invitation. It's a pleasure and an honor to share this moment with you. I have been a faculty member of the Federal University of Amazonas in Manaus, in the Brazilian Amazon, since 1985, working as a professor and researcher at the College of Agrarian Sciences and also at the Center for Environmental Sciences at UFAM. I am an agronomist and graduated in ecology. The subject of my master thesis was the Amazonian traditional food production system, and I studied in indigenous group about the management of the agroforestry system that combines Sweden agriculture with the management of Brazil nut forests. I also served as the state superintendent of the Brazilian Federal Environmental Agency here in Manaus, the IBAMA agency, for 6.5 years. And during that period, I was able to follow several issues associated with the management of NFTPs and also related to the sustainable multiple forest management in the Amazon. Currently, I'm carrying out research on the management of Brazil nuts native forests and on açaí extractive production system. Açaí, as you know, probably is the fruit of a wild palm tree in the Amazon belonging to the Euterpe genus and whose demand is increasing in the national and in the international markets. Thank you.
Thank you very much. For my side, I graduate as well as forestry in forestry science, and I did my master's on rural development in the my graduation was in Portugal, and then my master's in Spain on rural development projects, and then I did my PhD on landscape ecology. I've been working on these non-timber forest products and the use of different non-timber forest products, either in Europe, in Portugal, where I came from, and in Brazil. These very two different perspectives. In Portugal, I worked for 8 years in a non-governmental organization, helping local communities that manage communal forests in order to enhance the sustainability of production of non-timber forest products. Very different honey. And then I moved to Brazil, and I started working on the mapping of ecosystem services in Amazon, in the project that was led here by Professor Britaldo Soares Filho at UFMG, mapping the rentability of rubber and Brazil nut, and working with local communities, trying to understand how socio-ecological system, how it works, and the role of rubber, acai as well, and different chains in Amazon, and now in Cerrado as well. I've been part of the sustainable use of wild species assessment by IPES that had recently released this guidelines for policy makers. That is for sure one of the important pieces of information about how wild species are used globally. It was a very important experience. And I'm based at Universidade Federal of Minas Gerais, Centro de Sensoriamento Remoto, and this webinar is celebrating 30 years of our research lab here at UFMG. So it's lots to celebrate, and I'm very thankful for this IUFRO opportunity to organize this meeting. So in order to understand how this webinar will work, we prepared to discuss these topics in two broader parts. We'll start by giving an overview of the role of forests and forest products and the sociobiodiversity in Latin America in the different countries. So in this overview, we will be talking for 5 topics. What is the role of non-timber forest products for local livelihoods? Then we'll go the role of non-timber forest products in trade, how these products are traded, which companies are working on these non-timber forest products, the role of trade and the companies. Then we'll go how non-timber forest products are represented in research and data. How can we map what we know about these systems in official data sets? Then we'll go to policy. Which type of policies do you have in different countries in order to deal with the challenge ahead for these non-timber forest products? And finally, an overview, what is needed to move forward and enhancing the role of non-timber forest products and biodiversity in different countries. After these introductory discussions, we will focus on narrow case studies. And our role with these case studies is to present the socio-ecological system, 1 or 2 or 3 that are important in your country, and try to associate these local case studies with the broader topics that we discussed previously. So please send us your questions or comments. We'll do our best to reply to them here. And I will start now with these first discussion topics, and we'll go in turns. Each one of our speakers will present the experience in the different countries. So I will start with Juana from Chile telling me about the role of non-timber forest products in livelihoods, traditional livelihoods in Chile. What is their role? What for non-timber forests are used? Please tell us about your experience.
Okay. Okay, as you know, Chile is a long country around the Ocean Pacific. The enormous length of Chile, over 4,000 kilometers, and its wide range of climate and environments divided the country into three general zones: the desert province in the north, Mediterranean zone in the center, and the humid region of the south. All of them generate different vegetation types, which provide a wide diversity of non-timber forest products. This diversity has a close relationship with rural communities, especially indigenous. Like of many countries in the world, in Chile, the non-timber forest products have been also identified as a livelihood strategy for that links both the rural and urban environments and contribute to poverty alleviation. Indigenous people, rural population, and the inhabitants of the forest boundaries have obtained an important part of their subsistence from forest, collecting and using non-timber forest products. In the rural areas in Chile, there is a valuable tradition of the use of non-timber forest products. Most of them are destined for self-consumption, but in many cases, these products offer an important income source. In Chile, non-timber forest products are crucial for the subsistence and the great majority of Mapuche community, one of the 8 different ethnic groups present in our country. And that represents 87% of the indigenous people. Mapuche people have the lowest level of economic activity with the highest levels of poverty. But at the same time, they have important part of the traditional knowledge and use of non-timber forests in Chile. They are the main transmitters of this knowledge to other generations by contributing to food security, health, well-being, and income. In Chile, non-timber forest products are collected from both native forests and forest plantations. In the North Chile, chañar fruits, the species is Geoffroea decorticans, stand out. They are used for culinary and medical purpose, like chañar arrope. Chañar arrope is like similar to honey, because it's sweet, dark, and thin. In central Chile, two tree species have been used because its medicinal properties, boldo and quillay, which main value is in their active components contained in leaves, bark, and wood, including flavonoids, essential oils, and alkaloids. From the temperate evergreen forest, many products have been collected. For example, edible products such nuts from Araucaria and Avellano, berries from Maqui, Calafate, and Murta, petioles from Nalca, sprout from bamboo, and mushrooms, edible mushroom. Other important group of non-timber forest products are the natural dyes for dyes chipped wool, vegetative material for basketry, that means to do the baskets. The greenery species, which are leaves and branches used in the same way of flower markets, and medicinal native plants. In forest plantation, the main non-timber forest products are the mushroom from Lactarius deliciosus and Sulius luteus, two ectomycorrhizal species of Pinus radiata. Many rural families from the boundaries of plantation forests are collecting this mushroom to sell them to local enterprises. Both mushrooms play an important role in the exportation statistic of Chile. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's hear now about Colombia. René, can you please tell us the role of non-timber forest products in livelihoods in Colombia? A brief overview.
Okay, in Colombia, it's very important the non-timber forest products, no? Because the non-timber forest products represent a way of life for many Colombian citizens. It is estimated that Colombia rural areas have a population of more than 11 million people, will represent 26% of the country's total population. Of this, 62.1% of more than 7 million people live in poverty, and 21% of the rural population, a total of 5,000 people live in extreme poverty, some even homeless. Many non-timber forest products are being used by this community. Remember that Colombia have many kinds of ecosystem, and one example being olla de mono seeds is a Lycitis minor, is similar to nuts Brazil. It's a tree that grows in small forest patches and in the Caribbean region from which a cosmetic oil can be extracted. This Colombian natural ingredient received the Gold Award at the In Cosmetic Awards to, 2020. Other example is their ID palm, is the fruits as well. Euterpe oleracea is the similar to acai, found in the Pacific regions. And the other example is the blueberries natives, Vaccinium meridionale. The common name is sagras, and representative plant from Andean forests. Both these last two examples are very desired and valued source of food. And traditional, these products aren't only important for the nutrition they give, but for the culture values as well. A value that is a crucial to maintain the culture value of our indigenous, our Afro descendants, farmers, and many more. For example, some culture indigenous in the Amazon use a traditional product, is the common name yanchama, and they obtain the bark of this species to and use in the ceremonial dance. This is other important of the Ntsp in Colombia, the culture value. Yes, it has been evidence that some of these products generate from 20% of 70% of rural families' income. These products in Colombia are seen as an alternative applicable in sustainable forest management. Most of these forests have already lost their structure and cave woodland species. Ntsp are also seen as an alternative in ecological restoration, is a base in green business development, and an encouragement of a forest-based economy. This is the important Ntsp in Colombia. Later, I show a map with other products for the different regions. Thanks, Sonia.
René. And now, what is the role of non-timber forest products for livelihoods in Brazil, Enrique?
Hi, Sonia. As well, I said of the case in Chile and Colombia, here in Brazil, and TFPs have been and continue to be an important source of subsistence and income for indigenous peoples and traditional rural population in all Brazilian 6 great biomes, especially for those living in regions dominated by the Amazon forest, the Amazon rainforest. NTFPs are strongly associated with cultural identities of the regions and the peoples who historically exploit and manage that type of resource. I'm now going to talk a little bit of each of the Brazilian regions, and I'll point out the most important NSTPs of each one. In the southern Brazil, in areas of the Atlantic forest biome, the highlights are yerba mate, or erva mate, Ilex paraguariensis, and pinhão, the fruit of Araucaria angustifolia pine, which in the southern part of the Atlantic has great social cultural significance. Mate is a drink produced from the leaf of Ilex, consumed in the form of what we call here in Brazil chimarrão. It's very appreciated by the population, together with the pine nut. They consider it to be part of the cultural identity of the region, the Gaúcho culture. From an economic point of view, mate is one of the main non-Tivan products in the area of mixed umbrophilous forest. Per capita consumption of erva mate in Brazil, estimated at 1.2 kilogram per person per year, is low if compared with the numbers demanded by Argentina and Uruguay, where the population consumes 5 and 7 kilograms of dry yerba mate for prepared teas. Mate has been widely exploited and used by the industry to produce various products such as beverages, food, cosmetics, and hygiene and cleaning materials. The Araucaria angustifolia pine is an endangered species, and its cutting is prohibited by law. In the central region of the country, dominated by the Cerrado biome, our savanna-type vegetation, profoundly altered by the expansion of soybean cultivation, which has already caused the loss of 50% of the vegetation cover of this biome, the product of greatest social cultural prominence would be the pequi tree, Carioca brasiliensis, by the consumption of its fruit. In the interior of the northeast region, with a semi-arid climate, we have the Caatinga, and biome endemic to Brazil, characterized by a dry forest of thorns. In the Caatinga, the most important NTFP are carnaúba, umbu, and licuri. Carnaúbeira, the carnaúba palm tree, Copernicia prunifera, is the major native producer of wax in the Northeast. The wax is obtained from the extraction and processing of powder from the straws of the palm tree, and it's commercialized in the form of straw, dust, and oil products. In 2020, the country produced 813 tons of wax and 19,000 tons of carnaúba powder. As in the case of some of the Brazilians and NTFPs, most all wax produced in the country, estimated at more than 95%, is exported in its raw form, as the country does not have the technological mastery of most products derived from this wax. In the protected areas of the Amazon, the extraction of STFPs is one of the most relevant economic activities for the well-being of communities and for the in situ conservation of social biodiversity. The Amazon forest in the Brazilian forest biome, with the largest extension and where the largest share of forest products extraction occur, generating 77% of wood, 99% of Brazil nuts, and 100% of natural rubber produced in the country. In a study that we carried out here in the state of Amazonas, published last year, we evaluated the management and the marketing practices of NTFPs in a conservation unit, the Watumã Sustainable Development Reserve. Of the 24 NTFPs collected by families, food products are the more representative. Based on 9 potential indicators, we concluded that Copaiba, Copaifra SPP, especially for obtaining the resin oil, was the product best evaluated by the family units and with increasing regional demand according to the dealers. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much to you all. What I think that it's common in the different countries is this association between products and culture and livelihoods. Is there in different countries a way to link products and livelihoods? For example, in this ratification of Nagoya Protocol, it implies the register of the knowledge associated to the use. Are there in the different countries formal registries about this link between products and culture? Is there in Chile, Juana?
You mean about the Nagoya Protocol?
Is there in Chile any form of register the knowledge from these traditional communities that is associated to the use?
Yes, there is in some cases. The traditional knowledge in Chile about non-timber forest products is very important. It's the first step to start the all knowledge of the products. And but in Chile, the Nagoya Protocol, Chile has not signed the Nagoya Protocol at now. Although Chile signed the Conservation Biodiversity Convention, in Chile the authorities have not taken a proactive stance, sadly. Today, any foreign company or researcher can come to Chile, obtain and remove any genetic material from the country, which can later be studied and generate a patent. But in our country, there is some experience to collect the traditional knowledge and to busy and to write and to share with the society, because many of this knowledge is still in the countryside, in the forest. Some institutions of the government are start initiative to work more with non-timber forest products. The Agriculture Ministry, where we belong, the institute, the Forest Institute Research in Chile, belong to the Agriculture Ministry. And at least for us, it's very important to collect and to work with indigenous community and to write some the knowledge and so on. But like I said, the Nagoya Protocol, sadly, Chile had not signed this protocol right now.
It's good to know that there is a institution at least registering and this knowledge associated to the use. Is there anything similar in Colombia, René?
Okay, really in international level, although Colombia has not ratified the Nagoya Protocol, it has been making progress in conceptual aspect of the protocol, such as, for example, Law 165 of 1944. This law which regulates access to genetic resources. On the other is the Andean Decision 391 of 1996. This decision regulates access to genetic resources and their dairy product for scientific and commercial purpose. And other law is the law 740 2002 in the 2002 year, and this law ratified the Cartagena Protocol of biosafety, which provides an adequate level of protection in the transfer, manipulation, and use of living modified organisms that may have adverse effects on the conservation and sustainable use. This law is an example that articulates with the Protocol of Nagoya. Yeah. In the last year, for example, Colombia passed the Decree 6019, which has at its main objective is the sustainable management of wild flora of non-timber forest products. This is the decree, is the first decree that told about the Ntsp and include the communities for management. This decree.
There is any registration, let's say, how this community uses these products? Is there any formal register of it? Who is an institution registering, say, this community uses this product for this and this? Is there a formal organization doing that?
Yes, this law and this decree is the environment minister. Yes, and
Yes.
this minister work with the different institute and the different communities. Yes. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What
And
about? Sorry.
can I continue?
Yes, yes.
Okay. I told about the decrees, the 690. Yes. This decree, I say that is very important because is the law, is the decree that promote the sustainable management of the wild flora and the non-timber forest products. To access the use.
We'll go later in this policy. Can we now just move for the next topic, because policy will come later? Can it be?
Okay, no problem. I told next. Okay.
Next. Thank you. What about Enrique? What is there any formal registration how the people uses and documenting the use of wild species in Brazil?
Sonia, this is a controversial topic, but Brazil has recently joined the Nagoya Protocol. It was last year. And for the registration, there is our Institute of our Culture and Heritage, IFAM, who can be the guardian of this immaterial cultural heritage, but it is voluntary. Researchers and traditional communities may come together to describe this traditional system of management of non-timber forest products, and then ask IFAM, the institute, to declare that knowledge, the savoir-faire, the traditional knowledge associated with biodiversity as part of a immaterial culture of Brazil. I would say that most of the registration that we have at our hands with respect to the use of biodiversity are those registers in the scientific literature. So what we do before we start a new project, which involves the access of a traditional knowledge, we researchers, we are obliged to register that knowledge with the Ministry of Environment, which maintains the system, the CGEN, where all research that has access to the genetic resource and traditional associated knowledge has to, how can I say, inform that the access is being provided. That's maybe in the future that system will become our main source of the registration of traditional knowledge. But nowadays, what we have are the already published scientific literature, and that very few cases of the registration of immaterial culture at the Institute of Protection of Cultural Heritage in Brazil.
Thank you very much to you all. Let's now move to your next topic. What is the role? We now are in an era of the bioeconomy. There is numerous bioeconomy agendas in different countries in European Union. What is the role of trade? How is this interface between use of wild species and companies? What are the big examples or the representative examples that you have in your countries? How is this relationship about non-timber forest products and the national international trade? Some of you refer that most of this use is for subsistence use, but there is as well trade. What is the representativeness of trade at the present, and what you think that it can be in the future? Now we'll start with Enrique.
Thank you, Sonia, once again. I'll start explaining the most important case for the Amazon region, which is the rubber, Hevea brasiliensis, the natural rubber tree. Hevea brasiliensis is a tree native to the Amazon region, found in the forest of states of Acre, Amazonas, Rondônia, Pará, and in other Amazonian countries such as Peru and Bolivia. Rubber from natural forests was once one of the driving forces of the economy of Brazil and of its north region. However, more recently, it has lost this prominence in the regional economic and national economic scenarios. Among the reasons for this drop, we can mention the increase of planted forest areas, rubber planted areas in Brazil and in other countries, as well as the drop in sales price. The second most important one, and it's important nowadays, is the Brazil nut. Brazil nut is a NFTP derived from the nut of Bertholletia excelsa, as known as castanheira in Brazil. The Brazil nut tree can be used for different applications. The fruits, commonly called ouriços, can be used as a source of fuel and in the manufacture of objects and handicrafts. From the oil extraction residues, cake or bran is obtained, used as mixtures in flour or animal feed. The Brazil nut milk, which is of great value in regional cuisine, and the wood. However, the product of greatest economic interest is the sale of nuts, a food rich in nutrients such as selenium that can be consumed or used for oil extraction. A study funded by the United Nations Environment Programme, published in 2011, coordinated by Medeiros and Jung, two professors from the Federal University of Rio de Janeiro, evaluated the contribution of Brazilian protected areas to the national economy. The authors calculated that the production of natural rubber only in the 11 extractive reserves identified as producing resulted in 16.5 million Brazilian real per year. Brazil nut production had the potential to generate annually 39.2 million Brazilian reals, considering only the 17 extractive reserves analyzed. In both cases, rubber and Brazil nut, these gains could be significantly increased if the producing conservation units received investments to develop their productive capacity. In a more recent study published last year, requested by Nature Conservancy, an organization that has been working in the Amazon for more than 20 years, with support of IDB and Natura, and under the technical coordination of Professor Francisco de Assis Costa from the Federal University of Pará, they made an economic assessment of the recent history of NTFP's production in Pará state. The study presents the dimension, dynamics, and structural composition of what is conventionally called, in the current debate, the bioeconomy of social biodiversity. In this study, Professor Francisco Costa team analyzed the characteristic and the economic importance of 30 main value chains of social biodiversity products in the state of Pará. The production of these 30 products analyzed generated a total income in 2019 of 6.4 billion Brazilian reals, of which 78 was distributed within the economy of Pará state. NTFPs generated around 224,000 jobs in 2019, 90% of them in the state of Pará. Of this total, 84% of the workers are located in rural production, in a family-based production structure, 4% in commerce, and 2% in processing and processing industry. The fruit of the açaí palm represent the most important NTFP of Pará state, and the gross value of its rural production grew by 9.6% per year since 2006, reaching 1.3 billion in reals, Brazilian reals in 2019. This characterized the açaí economy as an important export base for the local economy. Not to fail, and to give an example of importance for the health market, I could highlight the emblematic case of Jaborandi, Pilocarpus microphyllus, that has been, during the last 3 decades, one of the most important commercial species of the Brazilian native flora. It is the only natural source of the drug pilocarpine, or pilocarpine, an alkaloid used in ophthalmology for pupil contraction, important in certain optical surgical procedures. Thank you.
Thank you, Enrique. What about in Chile, Juan? What is the role of trade and industry?
Okay, about the national and international trade in Chile of non-timber forest product, I can say that the national trade and the internal market generate annual income for around 200,000 people in the rural world. Has a strong gender connotation and is a determining factor in the family income. Domestic consumption is growing until now, estimated at 4 times the size of the export market, around the 480 products are selling, of which 1900% come from native forest. About the international trade, the economic dynamics of this item has involved a significant and sustained growth in the last 20 years in Chile. Export to the year 2008, for example, registered amount about $90 million dollars, representing 90 products, which are sent to more than 50 countries from Chile. The most relevant products are the rosehip fruits, mosses like sphagnum, fungi from natural forests and forest plantations, medicinal herbs, fruits such as maqui, murta, and calafates, extract and natural essential oils, and some species for greenery. That is a small overview about our national and international trade in Chile.
Thank you very much, Juana. And about in Colombia, René?
Okay, Sonia. I think that understand the trade in the 19 forest products is necessary to study the history. Yes, in the context history. I would like to about Ntsp have always played an important role in Colombia since ancient times. Generate economic income. For example, in the years 1849 and 1852, these products have generated an economic benefit. Species of the genus Cinchona, the family of Rubiaceae, played an important role as medicinal species, and its bark was exported to Spain for many years. Production began to decline to the depletion of the forests. The bad management of these forests break the trade. Yes, and in the 18th century, the Indigofera tinctoria, marked an economic development. The indigenous people of Mesoamerica knew this product that mohulit, where they extract a dye to dye fabrics, feathers, fibers, and others. Also used mainly as a ritual ornament. The production increased towards the 1860s, where crops were established. The decline of the product was due in part to the invention of the chemical dyes in Prussia. Yes, this other case that the chemical products break the trade of the NTFP. Other example is the tagua. Is a palm of the genus Phytelephas, or the common name is vegetable ivory. Had its beginnings around the 1830 and had its greatest prominence around 1850. The fruit of these plants had been harvested for more than a century, and the end of the 19th century and beginning of the 20th century. This palm became an import-export product in the country's economy. More recently, species such as the chontaduro is other palms, Bactris gassipais, the acai, Euterpe precatoria, and Naidi, Euterpe oleracea, have played an important role in the economy in Colombia. Several studies related to herds of palm have shown the economic importance of this product in the international level. Currently, we as Guaymaro. Guaymaro is a tree, is a very important tree in the dry forests. The scientific name is Brosimum alicastrum. Remember, at the dry forest is the highly threatened ecosystem in Colombia. This fruit is useful for production in food, and the other product is the grass is similar and native blueberries of the Calafate in Chile. The scientific name is Vaccinium meridionale. Other species important in this moment in Colombia is the huito, Genipa americana, and with some important palm leaves in construction, such as the bitter palm, Sabal mauritiformis, and wine palm, Atalea butiraceus. This is some examples the non-timber forest products in the trade in this moment in Colombia. Sorry. Thanks.
Thank you very much. But my sense is that there is a huge gap between the number of, and that is my next question. Do we have a number of non-timber forest products that are used by local communities and an estimate of the ones that are traded. The overall impression is that while there is a huge diversity of uses associated with the religion, culture, folklore, other cultural practices, there is a minority of products that go and are sold through production chains, to supply chains. Is this true? And how you see this gap can be? How can we use these companies and private money in order to add value to products, to bring money to the communities, and establish this linkage and this partnership between international trade, international companies, and communities that detain the knowledge about the use? How can this be together? Who would like to answer to this question? Let's start Brazil, Enrique. How you see this gap? How can we approach the gap?
Yes, definitely the diversity and the, how can I say, of uses and species that local population manages for their own consumption, for medicinal purposes, for food, whatever. It's much bigger than the ones that are trade. We do know, as we're going to discuss in the next topic, that ones that are, how can I say, more important in economic aspect for its volume that is trade. So most of the knowledge that we have regarding the uses that traditional people have of NTFPs comes from the literature, scientific, non-scientific literature. And there is, of course, the need of more researchers that do this inventory. But most of the time, they are just the list of the species and a list of the uses. So that has not been quantified, this, how can I say, invisible economy of local uses. I did a small research on acai in one of the municipality that produced that plant, and that so our result demonstrate that the local market is at least three times greater than the export market. I mean, the municipality consumes three times the volume that exports to other locality. So I would say that's one. There's a great need to conduct studies that reveals the importances and the value of NTFP's products in local economy. Thank you.
Thank you. In Chile, Juana?
I can be next. Yes, I understand. You ask about this gap between the big enterprise and the trade of non-timber forest products and the local reality. I can say that maybe this gap can be smaller when the enterprise are looking for where the products are from. This is, I mean, from to the forest, because we speak about many kinds of non-timber forest products, but the natural offer is in risk because the native forest and our resources are every day smaller, and they are dangerous because of the climate change, because of the forest destruction. And I think the big enterprise can invest in the restoration of the forest in order to save this natural offer that they need to to for the commercialization. I think, and this is my point of view about this big gap in Chile. In the local country, we use more than 400 species plant for the self-consumption. More of them are for the medicinal use. There is many plants that we didn't study until now. But for the exportation, for the international trade, there is some species that are in the what do you say, in the high but there is a few species than the species that they are consumed in the local trade. That is my point of view.
Thank you very much. And about in Colombia, René, what is the gap between what is used by communities and what is traded in formal markets?
Okay, so in the last year we worked in a book to define 12 key steps to promote the Ntsp from the academy, together with official of the Ministry of Environment and Sustainable Development. We have advanced in agenda for the construction of the Ntsp in Colombia. This agenda can be found in the chapter 4 of the book entitled Non-Timber Forest Products in Colombia, Consideration for its Development. I say that in this chart propose 12 key steps that we believe are the fundamental for the potential Ntsp. Aspects such as inventory of Ntsp in each ecosystem is necessary. Yes, and it's necessary to study the ecological aspect, for example, the abundance. Yes, this is the exit, for example, of the palms to obtain products of the Ntsp. Other aspect is research of the ecology of non-timber forest products and definition of the optimal harvesting levels. Other is incorporation of extension service provided by Ntsps, access to land for the people who works with Ntsp. Many people we work with Ntsp don't have access to the land. Integration of the non-timber forest products into sectoral policies. These are some of the strategic points to be advanced in Colombia. In 2018 at the 25 IUFRO World Congress, we presented this agenda, breaking down each of the points that make it up. A fundamental aspect that requires prompt implementation is the creation of a national forestry service. Many countries have it, and Colombia, which is a country with a forestry vocation, and we don't have the National Forestry Service. This is a principal is necessary to promote the Ntsp. There is an urgent need to create this National Forest Service. Another key aspect to move forward is the economic and commercial collaboration between countries. For example, the countries that make up the Amazon Basin through organizations such as the ODCA, Amazon Cooperation Treaty Organization, should promote sustainable management and promote fair and equitable markets for the communities. It is necessary to collaborate in the different countries to promote this Ntsp. The same should be done for the Andean region and other large biogeographical regions is necessary. Thanks, Sonia.
Very much. Let's now move to our next point, that is issues with data. I think this one will be more straightforward. What statistics are available for really mapping the use of non-timber forest products in communities and in trade? Which statistics are available? Do the statistics say the diversity of products? Are there missing gaps? What we need to do to improve our data? In Colombia, René.
Okay, disfortunately, we don't have a statistic in these products. Yes, it's necessary to promote the statistics. For example, in the DANE. DANE is the Department of Administrativo Nacional de Estadística in Colombia. Because these products don't reflect the importance in the PIB. Yes, other countries have statistics about of these products, but in Colombia it's necessary to identify what is the importance of this product in the economic in the country. Yes. This is the other point that I say that is necessary to incorporate in the agenda to promote the non-timber forest products in Colombia. We worked with the Minister of Environment and the other organization to create this system of the statistics, because only we have data in local communities, but not in the context general. It's necessary to promote this kind of statistics.
Thank you very much. And about in Brazil, Enrique?
Well, the Brazilian Institute of Geography and Statistics, the IBGE, maintain statistical series on producers and production volume. They are available for the main NTFPs, that is, the ones whose production volume and the most historically important. So it's a very small list of products. The most complete series of production of NTFPs at the scale of the land holdings are only available at the agricultural censuses carried out every 10 years, and the last one being carried out in 2017. Time series on the scale of the municipality are produced annually. However, as already stated, only for the nationally important products. For the international market, however, the Ministry of Economy maintains long annual series of export data. However, the list of NTFPs for which we have historical series is much smaller, since the records are made by categories of goods, and in each category can be formed by several plant species. So we need to disaggregate that data in order to gain a more precise view of the importance of each species in the international market. The exceptions are, as in the case of IBEG production data, those NTFP historically relevant, such as the case of rubber and the case of Brazil nuts, that we can access full sets of data of production and exportation. So the message here is that we want the Ministry of the Economy and the Brazilian Statistics Institute to increase the list of the NTFP products that has to be monitored for us to gain a better vision of the size and the importance of this economic sector. Thank you.
Sorry. And now in Chile, Juana?
I can speak about the experience of the Forest Institute of Chile, where I work. We have a special focus on non-timber forest products through an investigation team along of Chile. Here we have a non-timber forest product exportation newsletter. This is a biannual publication that contains Chilean export of non-timber forest products and their destination countries. This information is provided for the exportation office in Chile. It also includes highlights of the evolution of export of a selected non-timber forest products, and also information of inform activities our institute in the fields. This information is based on specialized documentation. Another kind of registration data in Chile is that we start in the last year, region by region, with a registration of collectors of non-timber forest products, which people, how many people are collected non-timber products in each region. The objective of this study was to measure and characterize the people who live in rural communities, who are partially, temporarily, or permanently linked to economic activities of collection of and processing of non-timber forest products for self-consumption or marketing purpose. Until now, we have this registration, this number of collectors in 3 regions in Chile. Until now, it's working a 4th region. And also we have some experience in non-timber sampling methods for some species in the forest. There is some sampling method experience which are carried out for the institute. For example, for 3 species in fruits and its fruits, climbing plants species and its vegetative material for basketry, and also for edible mushroom and they host. We start with this investigation because it's a big gap, and when you need data to decide a sustainable harvest management and also to start commercialization, you need data to take these decisions. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much to you all. Now let's move to our next topic, issues with policy. What policies? René started already explaining that for Colombia. What policies are important for enhancing the role of non-timber forest products in livelihoods? How can we add value to products? How can we make this socio-ecological system be enhanced? So now we'll start with Juana from Chile.
Okay. I select some experience also in this topic. In Chile, we have a public-private agenda for sustainable development of non-timber forest products that started in 2017. This agenda is structured in short, medium, and long-term action and goals for the 3 strategic axes defined in our forest policy. That is productivity and economic growth, inclusion and social equity, and protection of restoration of the forest heritage, thus constituting the medium and long-term public-private agenda for the sustainable development of non-timber forest products in Chile. This agenda considers a systematic work of the Non-Timber Forest Product Thematic Commission. This commission worked more than a year and identified a set of program, action, and public-private goals that allow in the medium and long term to significantly expand the non-timber forest product sector in a context of social, economic, and technological equity, sustainable conservation, and respecting tradition, knowledge, and culture. Other experience is that our institute, the Forest Institute of Chile, is member of CITES. There is a special attention about the seed of Araucaria araucana, our Araucaria in Chile, for the trade, international trade of these seeds. That is very slow at the moment, but we are looking for the trade, national and international, for these seeds. And how I can explain before about the Nagoya Protocol, Chile had not signed this Nagoya Protocol until now, but for some plants species, especially in the medicinal direction, it is estimated that in Chile about 11% of vegetal species have the potential to be used from medicinal purpose. In addition, the Ministry of Health includes knowledge on the use of natural resource and biological diversity for the preparation of medicine in its special program for health and indigenous peoples. I can explain and tell you that in South Chile, in many regions with an important indigenous population, there is some small hospital, that they use it, the conventional medicine and also the traditional medicine for the patients. This is a very innovative system, and that give a big value about our medicinal plant, and also for the ancient we call in Chile machis, that they are women and some men, that they have a big knowledge about a medicinal plant, and they are going to the hospital some days in the week, and they also could receive patients who want to take an alternative medicine. And this way, our Ministry of Health incorporate in their policies the importance of the medicinal plants and tradition in Chile. Thank you.
Colombia, Rene, we need to be, we are in top of our time already. Big policies you already mentioned before, so just a brief resume.
Yes, I say that the last year, Colombia passed the Decree 619 of 2021, which has its main objective is the sustainable management of wild flora and non-timber forest products. It's the first policy in Colombia to promote the Ntsp. This decree establishes that such sustainable management will be granted to interested parties through the different environmental authorities of the country with permits, concessions, associations, and authorizations. To access the use of non-timber forest resource, the interested party must carry out a technical study that this study include ecological aspect and the implementation of silvicultural practice for the management of natural population of non-timber resources, as well as the completion of the national single format, which will be established by the Ministry of the Environment. This decree also seeks to contribute to the economic reactivation of the country from solution based on nature, with mechanisms that allow Colombians to learn about new forms of production in sectors such as pharmaceutical, food, cosmetic, among others. With this new regulation, natural ingredients such as achote, for example, Visa orellana, the açaí, Euterpe precatoria, camu camu, Myrcea rubia, wax laurel, Morella pubescens, and other products, we have the opportunity to grow in the international markets. I would like to share, give the proper attention to the fact this decree was made in collaboration with local communities, with the support of the European Union, the National Association of Industrialists, ANDI, and the World Wildlife Foundation, the WWF, International Cooperation, the Non-Government Organization, Partnership for Forests, P4F, Research Institute, and the Academy. It is this decree is an interesting case to the police to implement to promote the Ntsp. And the other polite is the green business. The green business is contemplates economic activities in which goods or service are offered that generate positive environment impacts and also incorporate good environment, social and economic practice with a life cycle approach, contributing to the conservation of the environment as the natural capital that support the development of the territories. I think that is necessary to articulate the different ministry to promote these products, articulate policies. For example, the Ministry of the Environment, Agriculture of the Ministry, and the Health Ministry is an example. No? Thanks, Sonia.
Enrique, quickly, please.
Okay, I'll do my best. Well, when it comes to policies to increase the development of NTFP's value chains, I would say that it's important to consider that the most relevant and urgent investments should aim at the conservation of biodiversity, in particularly the native forests where NTFP's provider species naturally occur, as well as policy to promote the well-being of the population and the maintenance of the way of life of traditional population that manage these species of the local flora. Therefore, I would highlight the national and subnational policies for the creation and implementation of protected areas and for the recognition of the autonomy of the territories of indigenous peoples and traditional communities. It's worth mentioning the ARPA program, Protected Areas of the Amazon, which to date is the largest program for the protection of tropical forests in the world. However, since 2015, unfortunately, investments in the effective implementation of protected areas have been greatly reduced, and deforestation and illegal occupation of these areas have progressed, with serious consequences for the life and safety of indigenous peoples and traditional population that inhabit that areas. In the second plan would come the research, development, and innovation policies, and in the third plan, the policies to promote the processing and industrialization and commercialization sectors. In the case of uncultivated endemic species, the issues of access to genetic heritage and traditional knowledge gain importance. Being species with a long history of traditional and industrial uses, most patents were granted in a period prior to the Convention of Biological Diversity and its Nagoya Protocol. As in many other fields of industrial development, most of these patents belong to industries and other research, development, innovation organizations outside the country. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much. And we are at our last topic of this overview. We said much already. It's what is needed to move forward. We said that we need to close the gap between the role of subsistence and the industry, connect both. We need to register and document the use of a variety of non-timber forest products from community. We said that we need, to bring together these innovation policies in order to add value to non-timber forest products instead of, as it is now, to sell it in a raw state. How to add value to these products, what is needed to move forward, what else do we need to move forward. We have a bunch of questions here from Elder Jardim, my dear colleague here at UFMG, is asking, how can we reinforce these communities that explore non-timber forest products? What policies, or how can we instill transformation industry? How these cooperatives can add value to these products? So this is a really gross need to add value and to these products. How can we do it? Very quickly, and to close this gap, what we didn't say that is still to say about how to move forward. I will ask to each one of us to say two things. What is missing? How can we enhance and move forward for enhancing the role of non-timber forest products and the use of biodiversity in your country? Enrique, in Brazil, how can we do it? Very short, 2 key bullet points. What is important?
I would address in that, to answer your question, one of the sectors, which is the case of medicinal plants, where Ntsp products has an enormous potential. We have this farmácias vivas, living pharmacies. And I think this is a very good example of how a public policy that is being put in place would help to add value to Ntsp products. Unfortunately, we don't have time to explain that experience, but this is, I would ask and invite you to come to know this Brazilian experience, the Brazilian pharmacies. And I would say that the most important things to be done in order to develop Ntsp value chains in this moment in our country, as I said earlier, is to first to make sure to guarantee that the native forests are protected, because we are talking not only about domesticated species, but in most of the case, non-domesticated species, which is the case, for example, of Brazil nut. Thank you.
Joanna, 2 important things that we didn't say that it's important, it's crucial for enhancing the role of non-timber forest products in Chile.
Okay, one is the creation of a strong scientific support of non-timber initiative, because before the promotion and the development of any projects or any commercialization, we need information, we need study, we need to know all about the species and the context of the use. And today, I think also in Brazil and Colombia, it's difficult to find financial support for more investigation. I think this is the first step, to have a strong scientific support. And the second, more and more people of the cities are looking for a healthy life, and to take and to eat and to take more healthy products. And these products are coming from the forest. I think to be strong, to have a strong local trade is a good objective to give more value for this product and also for the people, because international trade is far away from the local people, but local trade, very strong, is more real, and is what the people in the forest need. These 2 points.
René in Colombia, two things that are crucial for
Okay.
enhancing the role.
Very fast. Okay. I think that is necessary to turn to the economy to the bioeconomy. Yes, is primordial, and the economy needs to be turned to the bioeconomy, marketing and production with local community. Other important point is generate forest governance, yes, with the community, and promote these products and monitoring with the local communities. This is the very important point to generate forest governance. And the other is the access to the land. I say that many people with work with Ntsp in Colombia don't have land. It's necessary access to land for these communities and promote different markets with the other countries by don't scheme of the bioeconomy. This is. Thanks.
Thank you very, very much. There is one question directed in this topic, directed to Enrique. Does the BGA give the number of people that are extractivists? How can we get this number?
Yes, you can find the number of families involved in each production of each species being monitored, and they are divided as cultivated and as extraction. So it's quite possible to know the number of families involved, land holdings involved, to have the number of people involved, number of persons involved. You should just use some average number to extrapolate, multiply the number of family by 3 or 4. This is quite possible to get a good estimate of the number of persons. But the thing is, how many family holdings are involved in collecting these or that product is possible to obtain in IBGE. And it is public data, and then just need to know the whereabouts, how to get the right place.
And other questions are about adding value in order to help communities. And we talked already about what is the role of, and asks as well about cooperatives. We didn't talk about cooperatives. What is the role of local cooperatives in establishing this adding value to the products?
I can
Very
start.
quickly. Yes, just one of you.
Yes, in Chile, there is many examples of cooperative for non-timber forest products. They are working very well when the cooperative belongs to a small family, because a cooperative with many members and not really work very well. And the good experience are when the cooperative are belonging to a small family, and they can manage better the enterprise, this small cooperative, and they put the products in the market, and they could manage very well the incomes. They are involved only in the local and the regional market, not for a big market. But I think that is enough for this kind of commercialization of non-timber forest products.
Another question here is about the acai. We always talk about policies, there is need policies, but there are some products that they brought, they grew alone. Like, for example, the acai, it was not popular by a policy. Are there others that, by themselves, they can succeed?
Oh, yes, there are many cases of the fruit of the moment.
Exactly.
And it's also caused by this sudden popularity of a fruit. We had that with cupuaçu a few decades ago. We had the guaraná a century ago. And now it's the time for the acai, the most famous one. Maybe
Others
in a
will
few,
come.
what others will come. We tried that with Camu Camu, right, Henny, to become Camu
Yes.
Camu
Come.
in a very famous superfruit. We're always looking the last 500 years for the super fruits from the Amazon and other parts of the country. The
Great.
consumers will continue to search for these novelties, and now we want to have this magic, fantastic fruits in our nutrition and the things that we put on our body, and to become more handsome and more healthy. So definitely, in you can expect that other superfruits will come.
I think that the group of the palms is very important group to management. Yes, in Colombia, for example, Bactris guineensis is a fruit similar to acai or naidi, but is the typical palms in the dry forests. Yes, the palms is a good group to management in the different ecosystem and include in the different system of productions. Yes, and it's necessary to domesticate this fruit and promote the other, not only the fruit of the pulp, other components. Yes, for example, in camu camu, the vitamin is very important. Yes.
So thank you very much. Now we are moving very quickly. I will ask my dear guests to be really specific. We had a maximum of 15 minutes, but I will kindly ask you for you to do as shortly as you can. The presentation of case studies. We are talking in a broad sense. Now just show us one specific case about this socio-ecological system of your country. Can you do it very quickly, Joanna?
Yes, I will try to be very quickly. Okay, I share my screen. And then okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes, very well.
Yeah, this is a study case that I call it kineting with the Lusuriaga polyphylla roots. This is a special name because in Chile we have important plants for our basketry. We were involved in the Forest Institute in a special project. It was executed between 2018 and 2020. It was a interdisciplinary research for this plant that is growing in many regions in Chile in the evergreen forest, but in Chiloé Island in the south has a special ecological and cultural value because it's a plant that is used since 5 centuries in the history. Kilineja is called, the common name is Lusuriaga polyphylla, belongs to the family the Astromediaceae. It's a climbing plant. You can see here, it's climbing on many trees species. Here you can see are not the leaf of the tree. This is the plant. This is Kilineja, a very old Kilineja individual that is growing on the tree. Here you can see some of these parts, the stems, the leaves, the fruits, the flowers, the seeds, and here these special aerial roots. This is the particularity of this plant, that the non-timber forest product here is the aerial roots, that they are growing after many years. The plant can reach the trunk, the stem of the tree, and we don't know until now how many years need the plant to have this special aerial root. These roots are come back to the soil. Here you can see the small roots when they are appearing in between the other plants in the trunk. And here the artisans, the collectors in the island are looking for these special roots. with this root, here you can see how is the harvest of the root. It's a very difficult work. You have to go deep in the forest because this plant is growing in all forests that are not very intervened. Here you can see the harvest is a very difficult support, and the people are have to share to take this by hand. They are going to the forest by foot or by horses. Then they have to clean this material, and after some days, it's ready to be transformed in these creative objects by the creation of the artisan in Chiloé Island. That's why this plant is very important for the cultural value of the people there. Here you can see some decorative handicraft. This plant, we can took research for the history of the use of this plant since 5 centuries. 5 centuries of use of this plant. At the beginning, in the century 17th, was used these ropes. These ropes was used to take the boats from the water, and also this other kind of instrument for the ships. For many years, Kilineja was used to be to build all of these kind of objects. Ropes to more boats was the many important thing object in the past. That's why Kilineja was very strong collected from the forest. Here you can see for the past also a shipload of Kilineja. That means here you can see the big quantity of Kilineja transported by ship for other region in Chile. They need special enterprise in the who worked with minerals need this kind of escobas. I forgot the word. These escobas to clean the enterprises in the north of Chile. For brooms. Okay. Here you can see a typical forest in Chiloé, a forest that was in a good state. And here you can see how Kilineja is growing. In our research, we do a sampling in order to know where are growing Kilineja, in which kind of forest, the state of the forest, and also how many trees host has Kilineja. Kilineja has more than 10 host trees. But there is three species that Kilineja are growing mainly. And another important information about our sampling is the other kind of species that are growing, epiphytas, that are growing on the tree and share the space with Kilineja. That is very important to for the ecology of Kilineja and all these species to be together. That is very important. Here you can see this kind of groups: mosses, lichens, ferns, and that one. We try also to understand the availability of Kilineja's aerial roots, and we obtain this result that around 50% of Kilineja individuals have a useful aerial root of this forest that we researched. In another activity of our project, we try to cultivate the plants because for the artisan, for the collector, is every day more difficult to find the roots, to find the plants in the forest. And until now, there is no experience about the reproduction of Kilineja. We did that with a good result, and in few months we have plants, and we we have the first plantation of Kilineja in Chiloé Island in 2 places, and 2 in a national park that belong to the government, and a private park. They have. We did this plantation in 2019. Then came the pandemic, and and after 3 years, we returned to the forest and to see our plants, our plantation, this first plantation of Kilineja, and for our surprise, the plants were very alive, and they grow in a good state, and they reach the trunks. They are growing through the trunk. That was for us a very good result, and we will monitoring this plantation every year now until now. And about the commercialization of the Kilineja basketry, there is in Chile a special institution that was working also with us, Fundación Artesanías de Chile, that belong to the government, and they have a registration of many artisans and collectors, and they are working with handicraft and many material. Basketry have a special section here, and it's important for this foundation to have contact with the artisan and to save and to live this art to use this plant in order to maintain this cultural and ecological value of the forest through Kilineja. Thank you for your attention.
Joana, really nice work. Congratulations. From Colombia, René, a case study. Please be very short, as we are running out of time.
Ok, ahí está compartiendo, ¿cierto? Okay. Very fast. Thanks for the ecosystem diversity in Colombia. 311 types of the ecosystem in Colombia. It is possible to find different types of species that provide non-timber forest products. Here are some examples. For example, the huito is a species that is used to obtain natural dyes, today relevant in the food industry. The palms in the Amazon region, such as the moriche, the acai, and the ceje, fibers in the Andean region are essential for basketry work, and from which several farmers obtain economic benefits. This is the example of the seed minor. The seed is used to obtain oil, no? Okay. In the last few years, progress has been made in the development of protocols to the management to the palms, for example, in Mauritia flexuosa. This book, Cosechar sin destruir, Harvesting Without Destroying, provides guidelines for palm management in Colombia. Community Forestry Management, Ntsp, works with communities in the Colombian Pacific and other related to non-timber forest product values chains is a specific sector of the Colombian Amazon. This is the case of the native blueberries. Vaccinium meridionale is similar to the Calafate in Chile. Okay, I told about the decrease, and that we mentioned it previously. The decrease is nothing by which the sustainable management of wild flora and non-timber forest product is solved. Another determination are adopted. This decree, including a definition of the non-timber forest product for Colombia, and establishes the requirements for access to the use of non-timber forest products. It's a very important legal tool to strengthen the non-timber forest product economy in Colombia. It's important to point out that the decrease was boiled from the base, that is, working with harvested and traders, environmental authorities, academic and research institutes. The first phase considered a workshop with the participation of 270 participants. The second phase consisted of 6 works with the participation of 260 participants. The decrease contemplates the generation of guidelines for the elaboration of technical studies for the sustainable management of wild flora and Ntsp. Today, we are moving forward with the Humboldt Institute and other entities, such as Andy, and with the support of P4F in the generation of these guides for users to know the steps to be taken into account when conducting a study for the use of Ntsp. The project on licensed non-timber forest products promote and enhance the commercialization of Ntsp, not only at the national level, but also in international markets within the framework of the bioeconomy policy. Strategies to reduce or the control deforestation, and it is a source of income compatible with rural livelihoods and the conservation of natural ecosystems. Several species are worked in the different types of ecosystem in Colombia. In the slide, we see the grass fruit of food importance in the Andes and the training of environmental authority official in relation to the CRI 6090. There are some of the important policies developed in the recent years that help to promote non-timber forest products. We have the Compass documents, Compass document 31697, policies for the commercial development of biotechnology based on the sustainable use of biodiversity. Compass document 4021, national policies for the control of deforestation and sustainable forest management. These policies, together with the green business policies, are the basis to the development of the non-timber forest products in Colombia. However, the importance of having a national forest service in the country, which is fundamental for the development of the forestry sector and the development of the bioeconomy, is emphasized. Finally, we invite you to read the book Productos Forestales No Maderables in Colombia, Consideraciones para su Desarrollo. We explain the importance of these products for the development of a bioeconomy and address the points related to the construction of an agenda that allows the potential of non-timber forest products in Colombia. Thanks, Sonia.
Very, very much. And now, case studies from Brazil. Enrique, please.
Okay, Sonia, we really short in time, so I will just make the most important remarks that I would like not them to miss in this conversation. So I would say that policies, public policies in Brazil, such as the minimum price guarantee policy for social biodiversity products, the PGPM Bio, that guarantees a minimum price for 70 NTFPs, is an achievement. And this I see as a result of important social movements, importance of society to guarantee that not only the forest is being conserved, but this production of NTFP, but also the conservation and the protection of the way of lives of these traditional people are the result of very important social movements in the Amazon and in the rest of the country. And this has to do with the return to the country, to the democratic regimes in 1985, especially with the promulgation of the new federal constitution in 1989. Among these movements, social movements, two deserve the greatest mention and attention: the movement of indigenous peoples and the movement of rubber tappers, or seringueiros. The rubber tappers movement gave rise to national organization now recognized as the National Council of Extractive Populations, one of the main organizations representing these diverse traditional population. It also includes, of course, the rubber tappers, the seringueiros, the Brazil nut gatherers, the castanheiros, and many others. In the late 1980s, with the discovery of the risk of food contamination by aflatoxins, a mycotoxin produced by the fungi of the genus Arpegillus, the levels of control in the international market, especially in the European common market countries, become to be quite strict, with tolerance limits of 4 ppm of aflatoxin, which in practice means that, for example, the Brazil nut exported to Europe would have to be completely free from contamination. And until 2004, when our research team established an effective contamination control protocol, Brazilian producers of Brazil nut were not prepared to adapt to this new production quality standard. Bolivia achieved better results earlier than Brazil. And now Bolivia is the main exporter of Brazil nuts to the international market. But gradually, Brazilian producers, most of them indigenous and traditional people organized in association and in cooperatives, are starting to adopt good production practices that must be adopted very early at the starting point of the value chain, which is the gathering of the fruits on the ground of native Brazil nut grooves, Brazil nut native forest, which is to say, and I will stop here, saying that the wild Ntsps are the link, are the bridge between forest conservation and the protection of the way of life of traditional people in the Amazon and in the other Brazilian biomes. So to protect the forest, to protect the way of people, traditional people in our country, is the only way that we will have an economy based on a sustainable economy based on the management of non-forest non-timing forest products. Thank you.
My dear guests, we are at the end of our webinar, the IUFRO Landscape Ecology webinar. I have just a final remark. Thank you very, very much to all of you. I think that this meeting, it proves that non-timber forest projects, the role of sociobiodiversity, it has been in a political agenda for a long time. It's not a new thing. It's still a very prominent topic. We still have many challenges to overcome, but we know it's important. We acknowledge the role of local communities, the role of industry, it's a really interdisciplinary topic that needs a comprehensive approach to deal with them. Researchers, we are even more prepared to deal with that. I think that companies, they recently acknowledged their important role and how to enhance this system. We are in a no turning point. We really need to move forward, and I hope this webinar will be profitable and a kicking off of bringing more researchers, Juana was saying, to this, to bring a new approach to development of non-timber forest products as a strategy for development in Latin America. Thank you so much to you all. I'm sincerely grateful for your, effort to talk in English. It's not our mother language, and thank you so much for accepting this challenge to run the IUFRO Landscape Ecology webinar. I'm really thankful to João Azevedo that is the coordinator of this group, for his trust in us. And I really want to say again, many thanks to Cinnamon Dobbs from Chile and from Maria from Colombia that helped me out. Thank you very much. And congratulations to IUFRO, congratulations to CSR, this 30 years of activity here at UFMG that we are celebrating this year. And thank you so much to you all.
Okay, bye. Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye-bye.
We'll keep in touch.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye. I'm sorry. Enise is telling me that she posted in the link the book, and as well a call for a special issue that I'm organizing on forests about non-timber forest products and the role of bioeconomy. You are all invited to participate. We will keep in touch about this. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sonia. Bye-bye. Bye, Enrique.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, René,
Congratulations.
Enrique, and Sonia.
Letícia.